Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be exploring what is the Internet Computer, also known as the world's computer. As you guys know, we cover Internet Computer extensively on this channel for many years now. And one of the things that is incredible about the Internet Computer and DFINITY development ecosystem is that there is constant evolution of this ecosystem, of the capabilities of the network and the usage of the network. And so every once in a while, I like to kind of take a step back and kind of refresh myself like a new person entering the crypto ecosystem or learning about Internet Computer to understand, is this a good investment for my portfolio? And as you guys know, we're constantly analyzing a lot of the different cryptos and stocks and macroeconomic conditions in the markets globally since 2018 right here on the channel. So make sure you guys are subscribed. That way you never miss a new video. You can also give this video a free thumbs up. In today's video, we're going to be exploring what is the Internet Computer, what are the capabilities of the Internet Computer, what is the vision and the achievements of the Internet Computer, and we will also deeper dive, or at least take a little bit of a closer look into some of the metrics on the network that tell me whether this is or is not a good investment for my portfolio. But we're going to be starting with the basics of what is Internet Computer. And again, all of this is available on their website, internetcomputer.org, so you can go and look for yourself as well, because like I said, constant evolution and constantly changing what the capabilities are, what projects are launching, and what use cases the Internet Computer can solve for. So the Internet Computer is a public blockchain network enabled by new science from its first principles. It's the millions of times more powerful and can replace clouds and traditional IT infrastructure. The network, created by ICP, or the Internet Computer Protocol, is orchestrated by permissionless, decentralized governance and is hosted on sovereign hardware devices run by independent parties. Its purpose is to extend the public internet with native cloud computing and functionality. And so a lot of people interact with these cloud servers and they don't even know it. It's back end for a lot of applications and web services that you already use, such as Amazon Web Service is the back end. Google Cloud is a back end as well that a lot of people interact with. And these are highly centralized and also not as reliable as a public and decentralized network that has node operations all over the world and stuff like that. And so the original vision, it seems to be, with Internet Computer was to become this kind of cloud computing network, similar to what we saw with Storj or Storage, and also Filecoin, other blockchain ecosystems that were going for this like cloud storage, cloud computing, decentralized network. But then came along more use cases and more applications and more developers that really wanted to improve not just the back end of these, a lot of the things that we already use from a cloud storage perspective, but also programmability with smart contracts, payments with the ICP token, and also artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is effectively just a lot of, these servers and computers that are processing all the information. And a lot of times, if you're using ChatGPT, it needs to go to the cloud, go to the OpenAI servers to access that information. And so instead of going through Amazon Web Service or Google Cloud or OpenAI's proprietary like cloud infrastructure, you can now use a decentralized ecosystem infrastructure. And that seems to be what Internet Computer's new vision and pathway is. Now, we also talk about interoperability, and this is key, especially for AI implementation, is being able for the Internet Computer to interact not only with other ecosystems on-chain through blockchains, through Oracle services, through interoperability bridges, but also doing it through bridgeless technology, which Internet Computer calls chain fusion or chain key cryptography. And so, like I said, a lot of things have been changing throughout the years, and especially in the last 1 to 2 years on the Internet Computer, as they are now trying to achieve world computer status. Now, one of the unique capabilities of the Internet Computer is the numerous capabilities that enable it to play the world the role of world's computer and provide a foundation for transforming the internet. And so obviously, being a world computer, you have to interact and be the internet. Okay. And so internet computer allows, and it's the only blockchain that allows canisters or smart contracts that can serve the web by processing HTTP requests. This allows 100% of online services to run from the blockchain, from the internet computer. Again, we just talked a little bit about this. You can connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles, and internet computer contracts can directly connect to Web 2 APIs. Remember, although the network is considered a quote unquote blockchain, the internet computer is really a compute network. Think of it as a cloud, right? Just a big mega global computer that can process many different things and do different things. So being able to tap into Web 2 APIs, this is what we would expect from a compute platform, right? Bitcoin can do that. Ethereum can do that. They need to use oracles like Chainlink to be able to connect off-chain data with on-chain data, where internet computer connects directly into it. And so this makes oracles obsolete, like Chainlink, at least on the internet computer. Obviously, Chainlink is still going to probably be pretty good. You also have end-to-end privacy and confidentiality. We've been talking about what they call vet keys, and this is just a different form of cryptography that enables privacy and confidentiality of the information within these smart contracts to be programmed in. And why is that important? Well, if you're a large major company or even a small company and you don't want your competitors to have all your data, but you want the AI to be able to process all of your data, all of your business metrics, to be able to help build better plans, to help account for all the money that's being taken in or put out and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so to do that, you need confidence that your information is secure, that you're not just putting it on the blockchain and that other users or the node operators themselves can read that information and actually steal your company's secrets and then maybe go sell it to a competitor. That is critical, especially for privacy between companies and doing transactions on chain. One of the big hurdles that we see is that companies don't like necessarily paying or receiving with Bitcoin, because every transaction, all of your customers can now see all of your transactions, all the other payments. And why did this customer only pay you half of what I paid you? Did you quote me double what they paid you, right? And that can create trust issues within your business. And so this is the way that I think about it, is more of a business perspective, because personal usage of these AI agents isn't really what they're building for. They're really building this ecosystem for big programs, big projects, be the infrastructure layer for AI and compute in a decentralized manner. One of the other really amazing things that we've seen with internet computer and what Dfinity has pushed out is what they call internet identity, secure and convenient authentication. One of the things we've seen other ecosystems try to achieve is what they call SSID, or self-sovereign identity, where you own your data. And those other ecosystems have not been able to achieve this after many, many years. But internet computer has been able to do this because of the compute capabilities of the ecosystem. Internet identity is the modern successor to the username and password model, using a more advanced and secure method powered by passkeys and web authentication. Passkeys allow you to sign in a convenient method like your device's screen lock for ease of use. You can also sign in with your Google account. And so what you can see here is that they're merging the accessibility of this ecosystem. So it's not a siloed blockchain. It's not a siloed network, where it can connect and it can use non-blockchain native access credentials, such as a Google account, to actually go and sign in to the blockchain, go and sign in and utilize your identity across the different programs that you use, whether it's for business, whether it's for, creation with AI, or whatever else you're using the internet computer for. And again, everything is very, very new, so there is not that much usage. But as we see more and more development and more of people moving off traditional payment rails and off traditional centralized servers that can't be accessed in certain locations, or they can't do business with certain customers, right? That's a friction that you have in areas that are underbanked or not banked or don't have access to the internet, right? We've seen a lot of that taking place, and also a lot of crypto really going after banking the unbanked and making that change. But to bank the unbanked, with crypto or blockchain, you also have to give them access to the internet. And so if they have access to the internet, they have access to the internet computer. Now, we've also talked about the breakthrough performance, the low latency and high throughput, the two most important metrics for measuring performance. Internet computer excels in both. Unlike most blockchains, internet computer has no theoretical maximum transactions per second or blockchain throughput effectively. Throughput scales horizontally with each added subnet, analogous to how cloud computing scales with added machines. Smart contracts on different subnets can always communicate with each other without getting bottlenecked with a growing number of subnets. Now, subnets are just basically like node clusters, I guess you could say. So you can see on the internet computer when I'm recording this, at the end of 2025, there's 47 total subnets in 32 countries, and that consists of 701 node machines. So there's 700 machines that are powering the internet computer, 97 node operators, 86 data centers, 62 data center owners, and these are in 59 regions around the world. You can see it on this map right here. Basically every continent, I think, except Antarctica, but maybe they'll get that going sometime in the future. But again, either way, you can see, and what we've just experienced in the middle of 2025 was a reorganization of the entire node operations and subnet operations on the internet computer. We saw an expansion with, I think, a 50% increase or something like that in total number of subnets, bringing us to about 50. They've also created region and jurisdiction specific subnets for Europe, which has specific data compliance laws, and the US with a similar kind of structure. And so 100% of things that are processed with an internet computer are done on chain, no cloud. I mean, effectively, the chain is the cloud, but you guys kind of get the point. And they use a reverse gas model, which is a little bit different than, let's say, Ethereum for paying developers. And effectively, the way that computation is paid for on the internet computer is if you need to utilize the internet computer for resource use, like an app or something like that, you basically convert your internet computer coins into what's called cycles. Cycles are the gas of the internet computer. The cycles get paid as you use the computation or the networking power of the internet computer. Those cycles then get distributed to the node operations, and then the node operators turn those cycles back into internet computer coins and pay themselves. So effectively, you can monitor the health and the usage of the network on two ends. One, how many internet computer coins are being burned and turned into cycles. And then you also want to see how many cycles are turned back into internet computer, because people can just turn their ICP into cycles but not actually use the network. We want to see both ends with activity. That's just an example of one of the or many of the metrics that you can actually see within the internet computer ecosystem and on their dashboard. Their dashboard is available directly on their website. And so we also know internet computer is a DPIN network, or decentralized physical infrastructure network. Now, DPIN was coined by the Solana ecosystem, but it seems like they kind of abandoned the whole DPIN category of technology. These DPIN blockchain protocols build, maintain, and operate hardware infrastructure in an open and decentralized manner. The internet computer is one of the leading DPIN networks, hosted by special node machines dedicated to creating a sovereign network governed by advanced DAOs. Decentralized autonomous organizations and canister smart contracts can rent compute and storage on the network. The other thing to keep in mind with the DPIN is, like, even ecosystems that you're staking on that don't have their own infrastructure, they're using Amazon Web Service. They're using Google Cloud. And so even though it's quote unquote a decentralized network, it's a decentralized network running on top of a centralized network. But your favorite crypto ecosystems never discuss or talk about that. Now, we are going to get deeper into the infrastructure on the internet computer in just a minute here, because the AI infrastructure that is being built effectively is going to make internet computer the AI infrastructure layer for the world, for the globe. And other ecosystems are already using internet computer for their infrastructure, meaning these other ecosystems, they can't do it themselves because they don't have the physical infrastructure. They, like, internet computer is actually building data centers. They're actually becoming like an AI infrastructure powerhouse, but in a decentralized global fashion. It's very, very interesting to see how they're doing things versus like an open AI or an XAI just creating data centers to, in one location, right? That's one point of failure. If the electricity goes out, the whole network can't operate. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, they also talk about integrating chains. And one of the things that we've seen recently is the deployment of what they call Bitcoin DeFi. Now, Bitcoin DeFi is basically allows the internet computer to directly interact, read, and write to the Bitcoin blockchain. Remember, internet computer is not like an Ethereum or a smart contract that's siloed in Ethereum or needs a bridge that's trusted and basically uses centralized servers. Effectively, internet computer, because it's its own compute network, can actually interact, read, and write on the Bitcoin network. So the smart contracts can be programmed to basically do things on Bitcoin. And this is something that we've seen pretty extensively. Democracy on the blockchain. They talk a little bit about, it says first Googleable smart contracts in the world. So you can actually go in the smart contract ecosystem and just look up one specific thing in the smart contract that you're looking for. You're looking for a smart contract that interacts with AI agents or interacts with payments or whatever. You can actually go in and look at that. And then they talk about some other stuff, which we will get to in a bit as well. But now let's talk a little bit about AI, because this is, in my view, the groundbreaking technology that is putting internet computer on the map, because they are able to not only create AI, but they're able to have the AI interact with the network and deploy smart contracts, deploy dApps, deploy websites directly onto the internet computer. And because the internet computer is a compute network, it can actually host the entire stack of your dApp. The front end, which the customer uses, the back end, which you use, and the compute and the payments and all of that. And obviously, a lot of this is still fairly new and still in testing mode, but we are seeing a lot of advancements in a lot of the metrics of the internet computer. One of the ones that we talk about quite often is transactions per second. The transaction per second throughput of internet computer blockchain is now the fastest on the planet, faster than Solana, which historically has been number one. This has been highly underreported. Most people in crypto have no idea about this, but the data is the data. It is the fastest blockchain on the planet. And we're seeing sustained growth and sustained increases in the transactions per second. And as we read a little bit earlier, the throughput of internet computer is effectively limitless. It depends on how big the network actually grows. Where other ecosystems, they can only process a certain number of transactions per second. And if you don't believe me, go back to 2017, where every blockchain that was around back then said they were going to do 1 million transactions per second. Then they repeated that in 2020. We're now in 2025, almost 2026, and there's still no blockchain that can do 100,000 transactions per second or even 1 million transactions per second. And most of those blockchains that were promising that, they can still only do single or double digit transactions per second. So the throughput, especially for the usage of artificial intelligence on chain, needs to be high. And internet computer achieves that and is now the fastest blockchain on the planet. And so what does internet computer do? Model integrity. Users need assurance that their AI prompts are handled in untampered models. This is what internet computer can do. Data confidentiality. This is something we were just talking about with vet keys, protecting the sensitive data, maybe your medical records, maybe your customer information for your business and stuff like that. And so again, this is at the very early stages of where AI is. But by the way, I don't think, and I've come to this realization more recently, that Internet Computer or Dfinity are trying to create the best AI models in the world, because they don't need to. They just need the infrastructure, and that's what they're building. And not only are they building that, but we see Fetch AI and Fetch AI is basically part of the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. And basically, the ASI Alliance was three different blockchains coming together to create one mega AI ecosystem. And here we are over a year and a half after that launch. And we're finding out that Fetch AI, which is the main, now like the main contributor, I guess, to ASI, they're using the Internet Computer for their infrastructure. So ICP doesn't even have to do everything. They just have to do a few things very well, and everybody else is going to be utilizing them. So Fetch AI and Internet Computer announced in July of 2025 a next-gen agent hackathon, an AI-focused, AI agent-focused hackathon launching on August 1. This marks the first The hackathon addresses a critical frontier in Web3 development, deploying Fetch AI's intelligent autonomous agents that operate entirely on-chain without traditional cloud dependencies. What does that sound like? The Internet Computer. Participants will leverage Fetch AI's U-Agent framework to develop autonomous agents and deploy them on Agentverse. These agents will be integrated with Internet Computer's smart contracts, which are called canisters, to create AI-powered applications that run autonomously on its decentralized infrastructure. So literally, Fetch AI created a hackathon to pay people to create products on Fetch AI that would be utilizing the back-end infrastructure of Internet Computer. That is huge. That is really big. And by the way, it's not just Fetch AI. Other ecosystems like HBAR have announced major partnerships with Internet Computer as well. Back in January of 2025, the president of Hashgraph Association was on stage next to Dominic Williams, the founder of Dfinity, and also Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, and effectively stated that they were going to be utilizing the technology that Internet Computer has, that Dfinity was creating. Now, personally, at the time, I thought that they were going to be utilizing the large language model of the Internet Computer. But now it's become very clear, based on everything we just covered with Fetch AI and becoming the infrastructure layer for decentralized compute and decentralized AI, that probably Hedera is actually going to be utilizing the Internet Computer backend infrastructure to power the compute, to power the deployment of dApps and AI agents on chain using the infrastructure that Dfinity has created. And again, on stage next to Kimball Musk. Just a few months ago, when Dfinity launched Caffeine AI, which was their first large language model demo that would interact and could create dApps on the Internet Computer, there were people from Citibank at that conference. And then we found out that Citibank is diving deep into crypto and blockchain and these new frontier of technology. And so it seems like Internet Computer is further along than most people even realize. It seems like these other ecosystems have capitulated that Internet Computer does have really good technology, does have the only cloud infrastructure decentralized network on the planet. And it's very clear that no other network is even trying to compete. And I think part of this is being the first mover advantage. I mean, obviously, in the future, there's probably going to be more networks that operate similar to Internet Computer and maybe even better. But there is something to being the first mover and being at the forefront of this, these rollouts of these new technologies, and being able to create what nobody else has been able to create, so much to the fact that competing ecosystems are no longer even competing with Internet Computer. They've capitulated. They understand ICP is the chain to watch. That's why they're using it. So we have HBAR, Fetch AI, ASI. These are all crypto ecosystems that are utilizing or focused on AI. And so again, like, is internet computer a good investment? I mean, obviously you have to answer that question for yourself, but they're encompassing everything. They are literally trying to create Web 4.0 or the Internet 3.0. And to see this evolution, and a lot of the evolution has been in my understanding and probably many of your guys' understanding of what the internet computer's vision is. And obviously, I think it's continuing to evolve. I don't think it's just one set thing. I think that they're constantly evolving based on, yes, some narrative in the mainstream, but also what companies want. If you are creating a product that nobody wants, nobody's going to use it, and then you're just wasting your time. And there's a lot of ecosystems in crypto that are doing that. They just chase narrative. Oh, we're going to do this, and then they never do it. Oh, we're going to do this, then they never do it. We're going to do this, then they never do it. And internet computer keeps achieving what they say they're going to do. I'll give you one example. Just in July of 2025, I think it was July, Dominic, the founder of Internet Computers, said that we would see metrics on the internet computer 10xing. And we are starting to see 10xing occurring. Now you can see here the cycle burn rate for internet computer. And if we look at just even the last few months, we're starting to see major moves here. Okay, we're going from 0.2 to 0.02 to 0.2. That's a 10x. And we're starting to see that more, not only in the cycle burn rate, but also the ICP burn rate. I just did a video the other day where we went over the ICP burn rate. I don't know if I could pull it here, but I may be able to. But either way, the burn rate we saw peaking at basically 10x. And so the founder in June and July said we would see metrics 10xing on the internet computer. And sure enough, we're starting to see that in the cycle burn rate and the ICP burn rate. We're also seeing, remember what I was just talking about with Bitcoin DeFi? We're starting to see the Bitcoin usage and Bitcoin effectively, quote unquote, locked in the internet computer or cross-chained. In Ethereum, they call it wrapped. But we're seeing this number increasing as well. Just in the last 1 month, we went from 430 Bitcoin all the way up to 506 Bitcoin, which is basically 80 Bitcoin increase. At $100,000, it's $8 million increased. And granted, this is very small in the grand scheme of DeFi and cross-chain interoperability. But remember, there's not that many people that even know about this. And a lot of what Internet Computer and Dfinity seem to have been doing over the past few years is developing the infrastructure. And developing infrastructure is not fun. You see this in Bitcoin mining companies. You see it in the Bitcoin mining companies that are pivoting to AI. These things take a long time because they have to order the machines, they have to build out the warehouses, they have to connect the electricity, they have to get through regulatory issues. Like, it takes a while. And so building a world computer, building a compute network, and testing it and making sure it's solid and works and doesn't have any issues, while continuing to evolve in other areas of the ecosystem as well. This is a huge challenge, but we're already seeing the progress. And one of the only ecosystems in crypto, to be honest, is Internet Computer when we're talking about achieving what they set out to achieve. Remember what I was just talking about earlier in the video. A lot of blockchains, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. We're going to have 1 million transactions per second. We're going to have 1 million transactions per second. And they still have double-digit transactions per second. Internet Computer is now the fastest blockchain on Earth. And nobody even noticed. And so from my perspective and my analysis, I just keep learning more and more about ICP, and I don't know how they could fail. They had a horrible launch. The coin was heavily manipulated, I believe by FTX and Alameda. There was clearly a lot of changes in the vision and the pathway for what Internet Computer, where they would be. But now, because they've built this network, and they've built the foundation layer for the infrastructure for cloud compute, for decentralized compute, for global compute. They're there. Now they just have to integrate and continue to evolve and continue to show proof of concepts of the technological breakthroughs that you can utilize the internet computer for. And the most important thing is continuing to evolve and change, because Bitcoin hasn't evolved in over 10 years, and that may be good for Bitcoin. But obviously, the market wants more. That's why we have Ethereum, Solana, Sui, and now internet computer. So let me know what you guys think. Is this an investable asset? Is this an investable ecosystem? I believe it is, because they're not just going after the price. They're not just going after extracting value from you, which we see in a lot of other ecosystems. And they're not building anything. Years later, they haven't built shit. Internet computer has built all of this through nobody noticing, manipulated launch and price of the coin for the first 4 years, and it didn't stop them. They kept chugging along, as they say. And so I'm very bullish on this ecosystem. This does not mean that I'm going to hold the coin forever. This does not mean that I'm never going to sell or that I'm always going to buy. But the technology seems real. The development seems accelerating. And the usage seems like we're on the cusp of actual big partnerships or big announcements or big integrations, because we already have them from the competing ecosystems, which have capitulated. And so when one ecosystem can force multiple other ecosystems to capitulate on the usage of their chain as basically non-negotiable and guaranteed, they've already won. So with that, I'm bullish. Let me know if you're bullish. And don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Sometimes we talk about the macro environment in finance, and sometimes we do this kind of video where we deep dive into individual cryptos to understand, are these good investments for our portfolios? Nothing I say is financial advice. These are just my opinions and analysis, and obviously I could be wrong. So do your own research, invest responsibly, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Crypto on.